Hi everyone, it's Gabriel from St. Cloud Nursery. Hi. It has been so long since I've done this face to camera thing. I just really enjoy painting and making the babies, so this part isn't like my most favorite part, but I thought since it's been so long, I might as well give it a go. So here I am in my studio. I just got back from Tennessee. I had a fabulous time. Any of you from that area of the world, my goodness, so beautiful, so beautiful. How lucky are you to live with all that beautiful? It has been crazy. It has been wild. It has been fun. Life is so good. I cannot complain. I'm grateful. Last month, I had planned to spend the whole month making like alternative fantasy babies. And I did a couple of them, but some opportunities came up that I wasn't expecting. So I kind of had to switch gears. It was a small prototype baby for a new artist. That was really exciting and fun. She turned out really cute. First time artist. So she had never, had a sculpt made into vinyl before. And she's such a sweetheart, and the sculpt is really adorable. So I got to go to Tennessee to visit a friend who is moving out there, and to visit a couple of friends who already live there, and kind of check out what Tennessee is like, and I really liked it a lot. I would love to move there. Real estate is like, woo, it's just booming, like almost every big city right now. I'm not sure it's something I'd be able to do, but if I can, I would totally consider it. What else is happening? I have 7 babies on my workbench. They're all going to be fantasy babies. They were the ones I was going to do last month, but I couldn't. Now I'm gonna. And I think they might all be haunted circus. I'm not sure. I did 3 haunted circus babies before I left on my trip. I keep getting asked a lot of questions about how to get a baby, and I've addressed it in some videos, but I'll do it again because not everybody sees all the videos. So if we rewind back to when I first started, I was listing babies primarily on reborns.com. That is a really cool site. It's super simple to navigate. There are babies from all skill levels. I mean, from super beginner, this is the first baby I've ever made, to prototype artists. I mean, there's just a spectrum of babies there and price points. So, there's a baby for everyone. At least that's how I kind of see it. And it feels like a pretty trustworthy site. I've not had any problems with it. And the fees are pretty reasonable if you're an artist. And I really like that. It's just a flat fee for the month. The problem is it only lets you list one baby every 24 hours. So if you work in series like I do, that means, I can only list one baby a day. And I kind of like to list them all together so I can start shipping and I don't have to kind of go to the post office and a couple days later go to the post office, a couple days later go to the post office. I just like to get it all done, get my baby shipped on Monday and be done. So I started using Etsy. Now Etsy, kind of wonderful because they drive so much traffic. I don't need that much because I'm a one-person baby shop here. I can only make so many babies, unfortunately. But I've had a lot of luck. Things sell very quick for me on Etsy. So what I used to do was I would put all the babies that I had one day on Etsy, and then the next day I would list a baby on reborns, and then little by little they'd be on both sides. So they would sell on Etsy before I could get them over to reborns. So then I was primarily on Etsy. There's a lot of awesome things about Etsy, but there are also some weird things. It's pretty expensive. The fees are pretty astronomical. It's costs like 20 cents or something to list something, but once you sell it, there are so many weird fees. Like they charge a fee on your shipping till I think I'm like paying close to 30% to sell a baby, and it's okay, but I was hoping for something better. Then along came Instagram. My son said, "Mom, you need to go on Instagram." I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." He said, "No, really, I think you're gonna like it. It's easy and it's fun." And I started going on Instagram not that long ago, and it's just taken off. It's been so much fun. I really like it, almost better than Facebook, but don't tell anybody. I use Facebook mostly for like friends and family, and then Instagram for work. And so what had happened was I had some clients that I'd sold to before, and they would message me on Instagram and say, "Hey, can we just buy this baby from you directly rather than waiting for you to go list it on Etsy?" And I was like, how does this work? How does this work? And I figured it out. And because they were, you know, trusted relationships, we made it happen. And I started selling on Instagram. And because I'm using PayPal, all the protections are there, so it's nice. And it just saves me a step, and it saves me some fees, and I don't mind passing that savings on to other people. So I think I'm kind of moving in that direction. It wasn't my intention, but it's happening and it works, and I'm happy. So that's what we're gonna do. All of that just to tell you, those 2 haunted circus babies are probably going to sell on Instagram. So if you're one of those people that was waiting for one, keep an eye on Instagram. I think that's the best way to buy a baby from me at this time. I try my best to keep you in the loop with what I'm working on, where I'm at in my process, Instagram, before I list babies anywhere. So if you're interested, that's kind of like the first place to look to catch a baby. I hope that answers the question. I think I just made a long story longer. I apologize. I'm a long-winded girl, as you know. So I think what I'm gonna do is say hi and say bye and turn this camera around and start painting some babies. People have asked for me to do hair painting tutorial, fantasy baby tutorial, skin tone tutorial, paint mixing tutorial. I've covered a lot of that. Scroll all the way down to the first videos. There are some pretty detailed videos on how I do almost everything. You just have to go to them. And then I repeat that throughout. So if you're like, you know, bored, like I get bored in here a lot. I mean, I love some quiet time and I love some work time to myself and a little bit of solitude, but I don't need to be in the fortress of solitude. I get lonely. So my YouTube channel really helps me feel, you know, connected to other artists and to collectors and to people who enjoy this. And I really appreciate it and I like it. And I love that you come and hang out with me. It's so much fun. And all the positive comments, and ask questions and talk to each other, and let's make this a community. Let's hang out and let's keep it super positive, because that's all that matters at the end of the day. I mean, there are plenty of channels if you want to get into the silliness. I'm just not sure that's the direction I want to go. I'd like it to just stay like a cool place. Anyway, let me turn it around and let's paint some babies. Nice to see you. Have a super great week, everybody. Talk to you later. Stay well. Bye. It is bright and early. I decided where I'm going to put this tea. I'm trying to get into a habit of keeping my tea away from my work area, because the stuff we're working with isn't good for your body. And I'm trying to stay a little extra conscious of that. I'm just getting ready to start some babies. I found some gloves. I'm gonna try them out. I got these for working with silicone, but I'm gonna give them a try today. I am gonna start working on some silicone this summer. I think it'll be a good time because silicone will cure fast in the heat. And I mixed up some paint. However, my little guy snuck in here to play with my computer because he was grounded from screens. And he decided it would be a great idea to come in here and sneak my computer, and he knocked over my paint. So now I have to start from scratch. Well, sort of from scratch. There's still some in there that I can color match. I'm gonna mix this in the lid because it's hard when you're mixing in a jar, if you work in a jar, to get all the clumps out. I don't use matte varnish in my regular paint. I'm using it in this one because this is one of my prime layers. And I don't prime all babies and I don't neutralize all babies. It's just whatever the kit calls for, in my opinion. If I have a kit that's got a weird gray tone, or it's very, very orangey or really pink, and I'm going for a different vibe, then I will put a nice neutralizing layer on. I remember when I first started, people used to say, oh yeah, that's this kind of vinyl or that kind of vinyl. I'd be like, Or they'd say, oh, that vinyl paints like a dream. It paints itself. And I'd go, what does that even mean? Oh, well, you know, it's got that feeling or that look. And I couldn't understand it. And now I do. What happens is if you paint a lot of babies, you start to get a vibe for what vinyl does what. And there's no way to explain it. You have to touch it, see it, feel it, Smell it. Yeah, all vinyls have different kinds of scents and smells. Some are stinky, some smell kind of baby powdery, some kind of have a kind of a very plasticky smell. But I am doing all fantasy babies, which means that these babies are going to get a lot of color. So I want to give them a nice base with a lot of tooth so that I don't have to put too many layers on, babies that have vinyl that's stubborn. When I say it's stubborn, it means sometimes you get a vinyl that it'll suck up reds and it'll suck up blues and it'll stain with those colors, but all the other colors seem to fade off when you bake. It's an odd thing, and you have to keep putting on layers, and you're like, I put on 25 layers on this baby. I've even done dark brown colors, and this baby is still ghosty. Usually, if you get a vinyl like that, it's best if you have this on top. Now, the thing I don't like about using this kind of base layer is it makes the paint kind of grainy. You can't see it, but when you go to paint hair or if you use pencil, you're fighting it, and I don't like that, especially if you've used several layers of this. You know, I'm not the reborn expert here. I'm sure there are other people who've done this longer who have a better feel for that. And this is just Flesh 08. Sometimes I'll use baby skin if I want something a little paler. And I think that's just Bountiful Babies color. They have a couple of colors that are pre-mixed and they have names for, and they usually come in that beginner's kit, but you can order some of them. Like they have this wine color that I think they call eyelid purple. I've not once used it for eyelids. Actually, I hardly ever use it. It's one of those colors that comes out kind of dirty for me. The pigment tends to break apart if you don't mix it well. But that's just me. There might be a trick to it that I don't know. I'm only going to do 1 or 2 layers. Unless it's a really slick baby, then I'll do a couple more. But I think most of these babies are just going to get 1 layer of this. Now we're using an electric oven. Well, I'm using an electric oven. I do not bake in my house. I do not bake in my home oven. Never, 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 never. And this stuff outgasses, and when it does, those fumes are not good for your body. This is just coming out of my mouth and out of my head. It is not fact. I didn't look this up. I'm not telling you not to use it. I'm not telling you don't use Genesis Heat Set paint, or they're setting us up, or they're making us sick. None of that stuff. This is just how I personally feel. And obviously I'm okay with it because this is what I paint with. So what I do is I am just trying to be extra safe when I do it. I don't list my babies to be playthings for kids. Definitely not. I usually use gloves during COVID. I was super stingy with gloves just because they were in short supply. Not only were they expensive, but I knew that they needed to be used other places for more important things. So I wasn't trying to hoard gloves and make life harder for other people. What else? I bake outside. So a lot of people have said, I live in an apartment, you know, and I want to do this, and there's no way for me to bake. There's no place. Or they live in a house where they don't have a covered porch or a garage. And it gets tricky. Now, a lot of people have set up a situation where they bake near a window, they open up the window, and they have a fan blowing the fumes out. Or they put their New Wave on their kitchen stove, and then they turn on their kitchen fan to vent it. Our kitchen fans aren't designed to vent this kind of stuff. It's designed to vent some of the grease and the smoke that comes off of your cooking, which is why your house still smells like whatever it smells like, and if you burn something, your house still gets smoky. You know, it's encouraging the stuff that you're cooking to go up, but it's not a super great fan. When you work in a professional studio, they have huge vents, and I mean, these are like vents you would see in restaurants or factories. They're really strong. They're designed specifically to take up dangerous fumes and odors and gases and stuff. So, I mean, I'm not saying don't paint or that's not good enough or you're going to get sick. I don't know how this works. I just know that I wouldn't do it myself. An idea, and it's only because I've done it, was I used to have this like little patio table out here, and I was baking, and then what happened was it rained and I hadn't removed my oven. I didn't know it was going to rain, and it fried my oven out. And I did have like one of those umbrellas over the table, but those umbrellas are meant to keep out sun, not rain. So anyway, the oven still got fried up. And I got fried up. I was so mad. And I tried to dry it out and everything, and it didn't work. Oh, I was so cheesed off. That's, $100. But I had to think of something. So I went to Home Depot and I got these 4 table legs. They have them with the hardware already on them. And I cut them down to where I wanted them. So they were taller than the oven. I think I had about 2 feet of headroom. And I think I had to cut the legs down a little bit because of the sizes. They come in specific sizes. And then I got a piece of plywood that was bigger than my oven. And you can buy the hardware that the legs screw into. I think the legs were $3 a piece. And I think the hardware in a bag was 4 pieces for less than $5. The piece of plywood I got for free because I went to their scrap pile. And I paid them 25 cents to cut it to the dimensions. I just did a square, but I didn't have to pay for the wood. So, for less than 20 bucks, you can make basically a little cover for your New Wave. So you can put the New Wave on the porch, put this little tiny table on top. Now, you want ventilation on all 4 sides, so don't use a cardboard box or a regular box. You're gonna cause a fire. So just so I can sleep at night, I don't feel like I've caused anybody's house to catch on fire. So the legs, they look like this, and on top they actually have like a little screw in them, and that's just kind of what they look like at Home Depot. And you want to get 4 of those, and you want them to be at least 24 inches taller than your New Wave. And then you'll want a piece of plywood, preferably square. I mean, you can get whatever. You want it bigger than your New Wave. So say this is your New Wave. You want your plywood just a little bit bigger than your New Wave, and you want this taller than your New Wave. Again, I would say go at least 24 inches taller. And this is just going to act like a giant umbrella. It's going to protect your New Wave. And they sell the reciprocating pieces. It looks kind of like this, and it kind of has like a bubble and a little circle in it. And this is where you can screw it in, and you will just attach these with little screws. And then this will actually just screw in here. So when you're not using it, you can unscrew the legs and store it, and it's not a problem. So when you're done, I'm just going to give you a fancier picture of this. This will be your New Wave here, and you'll have power someplace safe. Make sure that if this is exposed to weather, that you unplug it if it's a rainy, snowy day, and that you have the kind of, oh gosh, I can't remember the acronym for it, like GF or whatever, meaning that if it'll trip and turn off if it gets wet or overheats or whatever, so you don't set your house on fire. Right. If you're having a windy, stormy, snowy day, I don't think this is going to be great. I mean, if you don't have like a porch that has cement or wood, you could also buy a paver. They're usually made out of cement. You can actually set the whole thing on the paver. What might even be a good idea is if you're prone to like wet or snow. And I can't tell you that this is 100% and totally safe. I don't want to be liable for that. But what I personally would try, maybe before you screw this on, I would get a piece of that heavy vinyl from Joann's. Use your coupon. And I would cover this with the vinyl, then turn it over and staple it, or maybe tack it down so that now the rainwater would flow off of this. And if you have a lot of headroom, you know, it should be flowing, I'm guessing, in this direction and keep your oven safe. The problem is you're going to want to be close to a source. Don't use an extension cord on your New Wave oven, especially if you're cooking outside. That could cause some trouble. But a lot of apartments and houses have some kind of outlet outside. Just be creative. And this is just an idea. This isn't going to fix everybody's problem, but this might help some people. Bean from the Twisted Beanstalk, she makes a lot of babies. She really loves mixing her colors differently for every single baby. She does little bowls of paint. She's known for, and she specifically specializes in alternative baby. She does, and I love watching her mix her colors. If you've not gone to her channel, you should go check it out. It's the Twisted Beanstalk, and she uses a lot of color and a lot of vibrant color. So she's just constantly mixing with each baby. And for me, I tend to do just kind of traditional reborns, and then I do some fantasy babies, but not a ton. This batch is going to all be fantasy. That's going to be fun for me. I feel like it's just playtime. Now, for me, and this isn't the way everybody does it, but this is just the way I do it, I'm going to just make a regular reborn, a regular traditional reborn, and then I'm going to use color on top of a baby that's already done. I may adjust their skin tones and do them a little paler or a little darker than I would normally do them, depending on how I want them to turn out. So I'm just going to be doing the Haunted Circus makeup on their faces, not on their limbs, but I want the part of their face that's exposed and their limbs to match. So I'm giving them all the same base coat. I'm going to get all these limbs into the oven. Now, it's going to take a while. My oven can only hold so much, right? But before I do that, let me show you the babies that I'm working on. So I'm going to be doing Joseph. Now, this is my last Joseph. I didn't even know I had one more, but I found one more. He is the cutest baby, and I think he's going to make a great Haunted Circus baby. He just has that kind of face. When I chose these babies, I chose them all for that purpose. This is Owen, I believe. Owen Awake. I just painted this baby last round, but I think this is going to make the cutest little kind of Parisian Haunted Circus baby sad face. Can you see it? I can see it. And I'm going to do some really light blue eyes. This is Aria. I was holding this baby back because I was going to do another alphaba, a green alphaba, but I just kind of have a feeling about this baby. I kind of wanted to do like blue fairy, like baby blue fairy, but we'll see. I kind of want to do all Haunted Circus, but if I do a fairy, this will be a fairy. Same with Clyde. I thought he'd make a cute little clown just because he has that kind of like 1970s bozo. So Aria and Clyde may turn into fairies. That's my backup plan. And this is an older sculpt. It's Tracy. It's big. And I wanted a bigger baby because I have some clothes that I bought that are a larger size that I want to embellish. And I thought, let me find a big baby. And this baby has a very generic kind of face, right? This is Spice. And I already made this baby into Haunted Circus baby. And it was the cutest baby ever. And so I wanted to make another one because I know somebody who really wanted that baby and didn't get a chance. And so I want to surprise her with this baby. And the last one is Miss Maggie. I love the craftsmanship of this sculpt. I think it's underappreciated. The limbs on this baby are just awesome. Just awesome. But a lot of people trade out the head. And so I have access to a lot of them. People will say, I've got 3 Maggie heads. Does anybody want them? And I'll always buy them. So I have a lot of Maggies because I think the artwork on this baby is great. And I think she's going to make a terrific clown. I think it's going to be amazing. I can't wait. I'm so excited that if this turns out great, I might do like 3 cuddle babies that are haunted circus with this head. I just love it so much. As I have 2 babies that are 3/4 limbs, and I didn't check to see if I have 3/4 limb bodies. And I do not know what is going on with baby bodies, but I used to be able to get them for $9. Sometimes they go on sale for $5. And 3/4 limb bodies sometimes now are up to $27. And I'm like, what the heck? I think with COVID, some things were in short supply, so people cranked up their prices. And they should come back down, but it doesn't look like they are. Although some bountiful baby sculpts are going on some good sales once in a while. And so that's nice, because I get to pass that savings on to you guys. All right, I'm going to go bake babies, and I'll come back when they all come out of the oven. Have a great day.